All right, today we are diving into something truly fascinating. It's a theory called the architecture of the word, and trust me, it's a wild ride. We're going to see how a classic biblical reference tool, a couple of specific numbers, and a very surprising word from ancient Sanskrit might all be connected. Let's get into it. So, let's start with a big what if. What if an ancient dictionary was also a secret code? Imagine a nearly 150-year-old biblical index. What if, hiding in plain sight within its numbering system, there was this hidden layer of meaning, a deliberate pattern that ties together totally unrelated ideas into one big story?
Okay, so the tool at the center of all this is called Strong's Concordance. At its core, it's just a huge index. Every single word in the original Hebrew of the Old Testament gets a number, starting with H1, H2, and so on. And every word in the Greek of the New Testament gets a number. G1, G2, you get it. Seems like a simple, practical system, right? Well, or is it?
So, let's jump in. Our first clue, the thing that starts to crack this whole thing open, begins with just one number, 29. This is where the first hint of a pattern starts to show up.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. In the Hebrew section, the word numbered, H29, is Abiyah. It's a name, and it means Yahweh is my Father. It's all about identity, who you are. Now flip over to the Greek side. The word G29 is angereo. It means to be compelled or forced into service. Think of a Roman soldier forcing a civilian to carry his gear. Two totally different words, from two different languages, but they share the exact same number.
And here's the connection this theory proposes. It suggests this isn't random at all, that together, these two words are telling one cohesive story. The one who has the identity of the Father's child is also called to a life of compelled, sacrificial service. One word is the identity, the other is the mission.
So you have to ask yourself, right? Is this just a one-in-a-million fluke of indexing? A really remarkable coincidence? Or are we looking at the start of a deliberate pattern, something woven right into the fabric of the text?
Well, to answer that, we'd need more evidence, wouldn't we? A single instance is just an anomaly. So let's see if this pattern holds up. Let's look at another number. The next key is 1199. And check this out. A similar kind of theme emerges immediately. The Hebrew word H1199 is ba'ara. It means brutish or senseless, like a state of spiritual ignorance or not being able to understand. At the exact same number, G1199, the Greek word is desmos, which literally means a bond, a chain, or a shackle, something used to hold a prisoner.
So once again, if you put them together, you get this single, complete idea. The number 1199 seems to be defining captivity in its entirety. You have the inner bondage of a senseless, brutish mind and the outer bondage of physical chains. They're like two sides of the very same coin.
Okay, so now we have two pretty compelling examples, right? The number 29 and the number 1199. Now let's add another layer. Let's bring in the lens of biblical numerology and see if these numbers carry any other meaning.
And it turns out the number 29 shows up a lot in Scripture, and it's often tied to a couple of really key ideas. First, departure. It frequently marks the point where a major character starts a new journey. Second, mountains. Scripture specifically names 29 mountains, which are always places of divine encounter. And get this, the actual method of studying number meaning, called gematria, is listed as the 29th rule of Torah interpretation. The method itself is tagged with the number.
All right, brace yourselves, because this is where the whole thing takes a turn that I promise you will not see coming. We're about to leave the world of biblical languages behind entirely and look at three simple letters.
Just these three letters, A, S, I. They seem totally random, like they have nothing to do with anything we've just talked about. But watch this.
So if we use a really simple system, A equals 1, B is 2, all the way down the alphabet, look what happens. A is 1, S is 19, I is 9. You add them up, 1 plus 19 plus 9, and you get 29. Our first key number, the number of departure and the mountain.
But wait, what if you don't add them? What if you just put the numbers next to each other? You get a 1, then a 1 and a 9, then another 9. You get 1199, our second key number, the number of bondage and chains. It's wild. This one three-letter word appears to hold the code for both of our mystery numbers.
So what on earth is ASI? Well, in Sanskrit, one of the most ancient languages we know of, ASI means sword. And it's not just any sword. It symbolizes the sword of wisdom, the blade that cuts through ignorance and severs the bonds of captivity. I mean, could there be a more perfect symbol for breaking the chains of number 1199?
Okay, this is it. This is the moment where all of these different threads, the Hebrew words, the Greek words, the numerology, this mysterious Sanskrit sword, it all comes together inside a single ancient prophecy.
We're looking at the prophecy in Daniel, chapter 2. A king dreams of this giant statue made of all these different metals, and it represents this sequence of world empires. And then, out of nowhere, this happens. A stone, not cut by human hands, flies in and just shatters the statue to pieces.
And here is where it all maps together. It's just incredible. The statue itself represents worldly empire, this whole system of bondage, which connects perfectly to our number 1199. The shattering of that statue, well, that's the old order departing, the first theme of our number 29. And what happens after? The stone that did the shattering grows into a great mountain that fills the whole earth, the second theme of number 29.
So let's just lay out the whole story, from start to finish. The sword, ASI, which we know numerically contains both 29 and 1199, is the agent of change. It strikes the statue, breaking the bonds of 1199. This action causes the old system to depart, our first theme of 29. And that makes way for the kingdom to become a great mountain, the second theme of 29.
And this brings us right back to the very beginning, but now it all clicks into place in one unbelievable sentence. The one who is the Father's child, H29, is compelled into service, G29, to break the physical bonds, G1199, that come from spiritual senselessness, H1199, and the instrument they use is the sword, ASI, which contains the entire code for the mission.
It's an incredibly dense, intricate web of connections. And it just leaves you with this one final thought. If any of this is even close to being true, it suggests a level of design and intention hidden just beneath the surface that is mind-boggling. It really makes you wonder, what other architectures are out there, just waiting to be discovered?